Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on the SortTables data viewer system, and lately we've been working on the database selection. So you can either load a CSV or you can load from a database, and we're working on the latter. All right, now the change we're trying to make is we'd like to be able to rename columns. So let me run this and demonstrate very quickly. Not sure that took. Okay, here we go. Well, maybe. There it is. All right. Look at create database configuration. Okay, so we've got several tables, and the relationship I want to do is I want to match instructor FK to person.id. So for a class, oh, we've got things messed up. Okay, we'll have to come back to it. But anyway, for a class, I should be able to say this dot instructor FK equals person.id. I'm not sure where that's really going to, but that should match this one to the instructor, so the class to the instructor. And I might like to rename this table, and instructor might be a better name for the person in this case. All right, and so if I did that, it should allow that, and it should change the name from person to instructor, although it should never be question mark. We're getting that. We know we're getting that. All right, so we've what we did yesterday was a lot of work that hopefully does the job, but we're not quite there. We attached a dictionary that maps from the ID of this table object called table selection. It maps from that to this name, I think. We went back and forth a bit. But anyway, that table of matching, so the ID, UUID to the actually it maps to the table selection object, the object representing this whole thing. Given that, it should be able to match up to the name of whatever's in there and change when that changes. And we've passed that table around, so everybody who needs it should have it. All right, now we do have failing tests. And we gave ourselves a goal: remove SqlDatabase.scopedColumns. Well, I'm not sure that's the most critical thing. Okay, so here's scoped columns. I don't think anybody used it at this point, so I guess it doesn't hurt terribly. SQL database view does. Okay, yeah, let's switch that over. We do need to switch that over. Excuse me. All right, those tests ran, and we should have two. Oh, is it two assertions failed? Okay, yeah. So this one, question mark dot another column. Okay, and same thing here. So you can see our table name is not being properly managed. All right, and I think part of getting that in place, it's been a long chain of stuff, but all these references to scope columns here, they need to reference the one in table database. What is it? Database selection. Okay, let me move this way over. Okay, so we got database selection, and where's SQL database? Okay, and I think database selection has scoped columns. These are the ones we want to use. We have to see if that's right, but this table ref to table selection, and I don't know, I have a slightly better name somewhere for it, but anyway, it's aware of the table mapping, so it should be able to use that in the sorting. All right, so let's go back to this one. Now, I don't know, we tried doing this the other day and yesterday, and it did act weird. Okay, so here, right now we're going from database.scopedColumns, and I think what we need to do is go from bridge dot selection dot scoped columns. Like that. Now, is that okay? All right. And then, I don't know, this feels awkward, but let's do it for now. So bridge gets our database selection. Database selection. Okay, let's run tests at least. Oh, we're getting that message again. Why? Database selection. Scoped columns. Oh, it was a var. Okay. I've probably been making that mistake for 2 days now. Okay. Is that what it was telling me? No. Now let's try. Could you just copy a struct for a table in config and change the table name and add that to the list? Well, I think the challenge is the join section and the table section both really need to reference the entity that holds that new name. And if it changes in one, we have to make sure it changes in the other. So right now we're doing that by pulling out another data structure that holds that information and passing it down to both. Could I copy the struct, change the table name, and add it to the list? Yeah, the only way I could see the change the table name working is if I somehow link it so that when I change the table on the name in the table section, that I go through all the joins and change the ones that were affected. But even there, if we introduce the same table twice, I think it's going to get confusing. You can't go by the name. You got to go by some other identifier or property or something that will do it. Are you just complaining about length? Okay. Did those run? Talking instead of watching, sorry. Yeah, the way it is with this table selection entries, they have both the original name and the renamed name. So that's no worse than it was. Let's see who else uses this, if there's anybody left. I think we got it out of all the tests. Yeah, there's nobody left. Okay. That seems like a weird complaint. Okay, so deleting that should have no effect. I don't want to check it in with this still failing though. I don't know. Theoretically, the refactoring is safe for what we're doing, but we were missing this piece of it, and the names come up with that question mark. Let's see, where is that? That's in description. Well, let's just look for the question mark. or date expression scoped column. Yeah. So here you're looking for the ID and we're not getting the original table. This seems like a bigger problem than just the fact that we're not doing the rename. Okay, let's see what's going on here. All right, so this test, we're renaming a scope column. Good. We get a selection. We build a table. The table with 2 columns in it. We rename the table to new table. And we set selections, table selections to this. And then we build the table reference collection. Table reference to selection is the table's ID and the table itself. Is that... Okay. All right. So I think that setup is correct. Although, again, we're making a copy of the table. Maybe I should just be making classes. I don't know. It messes up the view aspects a little. All right. And then our assertion is if you've done all that, when you ask the selection for its scoped columns, it says I've got one for new table, this column, and another for new table, that column. And then if I take the first, selection scoped columns. Okay, those do look right. But if I go in here and ask it for its description, ask the first one for its description, it comes out wrong. I think I'm maybe still not. Well, we don't do that change. Let's see in here. Where's it? Descriptor. Here. Okay, we're looking up the table reference, which is UUID, and we get if that reference ID. Wait, what's reference ID? Oh, the name, the ID we created originally. Okay. If my reference ID is in there, use the original table. Okay, now this should become renamed table. Let's go to table selection. It has original table and it has renamed table. And let's make sure who uses that. Database selection. And the one table view. Okay, so he's attempting to show it. Right, that's the editable value that we have. Okay. Hey, Tukes96, good to see you again. Okay, so I think this should do the rename, but I feel like something's going on that's not going to be enough. All right, database selection. No. Scoped column. So he looked up map table. Well, I guess we want renamed table, but why did that find nothing? That's very discouraging. Okay. I wonder if I'm still messing up references versus structs. that go? Okay, well, let's stop in here. Just run this one test. All right, and let's see, the reference to selection is empty. Okay, that would certainly do it. All right. Okay, I think what's going on is in our database, when we populate this, I'm not sure we're setting that table up. I think we did it and then deleted it, maybe. Is that true? No, we set it up here. All right, let's run that test again. Oh, it's set up in the view. I don't know that something's wrong in that test, I think. All right, I'm going to break there. All right, step over. And let's look at table reference to selection. Okay, that looks plausible. Well, this foundation ID and table name renamed as new table. Okay. So it's like something's not set up. Selection. .scopedColumns. Let's go see that thing. All right, now who set that? These. Selection.table selections. Oh, we didn't put that in there though. Database selection, we need to set this. Okay, so we got to make sure our selection knows about this mapping. And then we're using the mapping down here to check the answers. So it has the right scoped columns. All right, let's see how this does. Mapped table. Selection has one pair. Okay. FCBAB'd. Totally different. Oh, man. Okay, sorry. Okay, so what's happening is we're the reference ID we saved in our scoped column is this, but the one in the table is that. Why? All right, I got to take it a little slower, I guess. Okay, look at our setup. All right, so we got selection is this. His table is something's really, he's going to get saved. That seems unfortunate. Okay, his key is 87EF, which is the same as what we have here, which is the same as what we have here. Right, I think that should be the same. That's the table selection. His entry is 87. All right, now when we look here, table ID should be the same. Okay. Why are we looking at description for that? Oh, database selection, so scoped columns does. Okay. And the test does. All right. Let's continue. Continue. Okay. So that appears okay. Now, selection scope column sub 0. Selection.scopedColumns, I guess, came back. The ID is totally different. Totally different. Reference ID, reference ID. Oh, okay. Now let's just print selection.scopedColumns. $12A, D9. EE, D9, D3. None of those line up. Let's do it again. Do we get the same IDs? D8? No, we don't. Okay. Lovely. So every time I ask for selection.scopedColumns, I'm getting different IDs. DE77, nope, totally different. DB, yeah. 36CF, okay. Yeah, so, yet another set. Okay. Let's go look at scoped columns. It may be I have to, oh, that can't be right. This should be referencing the one that's in the, I think, is it in the columns? What is the column? A string. Okay, it's not in the column. It should be in the table. That should be one of our table selections. Yes. Okay. So reference ID of the scope column should be the tables. ID. And let's look at table selection just to be, make sure the ID is okay. When you create one, we generate an ID. All right. Let's run those tests again. Yeah. No, we definitely, well, we can create the table. It's okay to recreate the table as long as the IDs stay the same, which I'm hoping that took care of. Gonna take a moment to find out. Okay, 0 failures. Oh boy. All right. So now we are getting the renamed thing, looking for the table. I guess I just wonder if there's somewhere else that's doing something like that. That I know I put it in to just get through what we were doing, knowing that we'd have to do that at some point. Although I wish I'd remembered that today. All right, but let me just do a clean run on those. Then we got some consolidation work to do here. And we also want to run the real thing. Okay, so let's run it. Make sure we are getting legit table references. Okay, so I'm going to add a join. Class dot This alphabetical order looks a little suspicious to me. Class.instructorFK equals person.id. Is it sorting by the second one? Not really. Maybe. INT lowercase c. I bet it is. Okay. So we have that, but I would like to rename this to instructor. It's not updating. The selection, okay, something's... Okay, this keyboard, that's a simulator bug, but this scoped column ID, this is invalid, does not have an associated tag. Reference ID. Welcome, Ms. King, but not sure. Well, maybe these other listeners may have an idea, but I'm definitely not set up to answer that. Good luck, though. Okay. Well, I don't know if this is causing... let's see what these things are identified by. That could be the issue. Database view. Okay, so, well, it's probably the all joins view. And the all tables. Okay, so let's look at all tables view. Group HDEC for each array. All columns. No, somebody's... One table, group. Well, I don't see any tags. Selectable table button, that's this. Text equals text field. And it may be the joins also. Let's find one join view. HDEC and then all joins view. Yeah, we have a list with no... Is a join... A join is identifiable. And that's what that's showing. Okay, picker. I wish I knew which picker this was. Scoped column. is invalid. Scope column. He has an ID. Okay, I don't know what is. I'm gonna have to run it again and get to this same point. Well, for your question, Ms. King, I mean, like libraries and schools do stuff to prevent you from changing those things. There must be a mechanism for that, but I don't know if you can do it on your own account. Like if you're an admin account, can you disable yourself from doing stuff? I don't think you can, but I don't know. All right. So I don't have picker errors there. Turning it on and off does not. Adding a join does not. Let's remove it. Does editing cause a problem? Well, the keyboard issue, but let's just put class 2. That doesn't hurt it. Let's add a join. Yeah. Wow. Scoped column with a table of this. Table equals table. Well, I don't know what the table is. Let's find usages of that. Join, no, we want scope column.table. We set it, we check it. I don't think we ever use it. So why is it class 2? Let's try this. I'm trying to stop people from using this. And then I'll just make it private. Database selection. Join.column1.table. Okay. Okay, so we look at the scope column. Okay, so somebody creates... I don't know. It makes me feel like... this table, I'm not sure how it gets to be renamed. Database selection. These guys are looking at it. Looking. I mean, everything except maybe these tests. No, they're just looking too. It's no longer an error, so that's why it's... I don't know why it's still messed up, but I don't think you can answer... I don't think you can answer what is the table you're referencing. Well, you can. So, okay, why is it table 2? It's not the description. Description should be... Description has to use this reference table, this map, this dictionary. The table itself, though, like that's the database table. This is just kind of like, what do you call it? So who creates a scope table? Maybe scope column. Maybe they're changing it. Oh, how about the init? I'm not sure we should do this table reference thing either. I put that in because all these tests want to just create one. The real code should always use, yeah, the real code that creates one is here, scoped columns. Oh, this should not be renamed table. I don't think. Because that's where that class 2 came from. It's picking up, it's basically regenerating these with the renamed table, but I think it should use original table. Make sure it doesn't break anything. One failure. Renaming scoped. Okay. The table, another column. The table, my column is not equal to new table, another column, new table. Okay. Oh, now he's different. Okay. Scope column should not be new table. It should still be the table. Oh. It's only his description that changes. Now, these should pass. Yeah, I think they still will. Okay, so I think that reflects what we want it to. these should retain the original underlying database table. Okay. Let me run it. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Now it didn't change anything, so that was a little weird. And this sort order is a little weird. We want class instructor FK equals person.id. Okay. And if I change this, that should not complain. Oh, but it should change that. Okay. I think we're reference ID should not be created by the columns. Yeah, I don't think they do. Let's go back there and double check. Where was that? Nope. Database selection. Yeah. So he creates these, but he's pulling this table ID now. So, yeah, we haven't dealt with column changes yet. Who knows? But I think I fixed that today too, right? So, a few minutes ago. But this should reference the original table name, the original table selections value, because that's what's going to get mapped. And then this should reference the original table because, like, if you're generating the SQL, you got to know the underlying table name, I think, is what that's kind of boiling down to. Now, I don't know on that sorting. It seems to be sorted by the column name only. All right. Okay, I think tests are green. Some of the functionality is working that we can edit this still. It's not showing up down here. That's the last piece we got to get in place. There's too much stuff though. Okay, so all right, so we basically removed column. What do they call it? What was that called? Scoped columns from SQL database. Now use the one in database selection. Scoped column. Okay, we renamed, but the real thing is it's using the renamed scoped column returns renamed table and its description. Okay, that was deleted. Join analysis, that's the rename. Oh. Table selection dot table to dot original table. Okay, I think that's covered by the first statement. This should be a rename. Rename. Okay, I guess we made sure scoped column knows the original table name and can use the renamed name in description. I hope I never have to read this comment again. That's the test. Okay, that's all that same test. Okay, table selection, rename. All right. Ooh, yoy. Okay. Well, we pushed through, but we still don't have what we want. Oh. All right. So I think what's going on is when I edit, we need to be monitoring that somewhere. And I'm not sure where I'm not sure where that is. So I think right now when you edit, it's done in it works on that field in table selection. So let's get that guy up here. All right, I'm pulling you to the left. And I'm just going to close the others. I'm getting buried. All right, so table selection. Yeah, when you edit, we pass in a binding to this field, and that edits it. But I don't think anything monitors that. Like somehow, I don't even think we pass it in, right? The dictionary. Every time you change renamed table, you really ought to update that dictionary. And so I think we need a binding to that coming in as well. All right, remove scope columns. We did that. We'll take that one. Remove scope columns from database. That's good. Okay, renaming a table. So I think the thing we need to do is update the dictionary when a table is renamed. Renamed. Okay. Right. So let's find database view. Well, it's really one table view. Okay, so he's got the table button. He knows the table selection. And then the text is table selection rename table. So it's got a binding to that field and just edits it when it feels like it. All right, now what I think should happen, he doesn't really have that. Okay, yeah, so I think interestingly, the table view side doesn't pass down that dictionary table. Maybe let me dictionary view. No. Database view. Okay, now I think he kind of comes first. All right, so that thing owns this, which I'm going to rename table reference to selection. Okay. Let's see if I can rename it on all tables view. He knows the table selections. Okay, because he needs the list of all tables. Yeah, but I think he also should have this. Let's see if I can rename this. Okay. Now the joins view has to take this table reference to selection collection. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I think what I'm saying then is this table should be updated when table selection changes. And whoops, what went on? Oh man. Getting this message again. All right, let's revert this. I think this should fail because the renames didn't take. That's really bizarre. How does this make a copy of the table? Will it continue this when, or can you use the reference ID? Yeah, I think the thing is this is kind of a weird thing about Swift that maybe I'm not quite having the right mental model, but my belief is this table reference to table selection is a dictionary, and a dictionary is actually a value object. It's a struct, in other words. And the entries in them, UUIDs are certainly structs, and table selections are also structs. And so I've got a table that's full of unchanging stuff. If I edit the table selection while some other collection's holding it, that one gets the updated thing, but this collection does not. So it has the same table. You know, when we edit that, we don't change the table UUID, but we do change the contents of the table selection when we edit it, but we don't change it here by default. I think we have to specifically update this to reflect that, which is weird, maybe. I don't know. And so, I mean, if you want shared state, right, that's something classes give you, not structs. But structs can contain classes and all that. But I guess where I'm worried is if I have structs containing classes, then the Swift UI update stuff, it's a lot happier with the structs than it is the classes. The original version we had did use classes. So I don't know. All right. Now, I don't know how come this builds even. Let's try again. But we're gonna clean up before we modify for functionality. Okay, apparently I did that okay. All right, now I want to change this. Rename this. Again, table reference to selection. Okay, let's build that. It's pulling up these old test messages. It's a sign of Xcode getting ready to fail, I think. All right, and then I like this name on the all join view. let's go over there and do it here. Okay, and now let's see if database view lost its mind again. Okay. Uncommitted changes, stages. No changes. Okay, good. Weird. All right. So does that look right? Yeah. Okay. So I think the challenge is I'm never updating table reference to selection. And it's not pointing to a shared entity, it's pointing to its own entity. So I think that's why it's not doing it. All right, but I've got other stuff going on here. Like we've got all these complaints. Let's knock out a few of these. Scoped. Align vertical parameters. Okay, this. Table reference to selection colon. Scope column. Joins. That. Line length. Oh, vertical. Function parameters should be aligned vertically if there are multiple lines in a method call. Sure enough, it's not. Okay. Okay, line length, description. Now, I don't know if I need this. Wait a minute, why is that? Okay, let's rename this one. Table reference to selection. All right, and then description. I'm going to take this part out. Unfortunately, oops. Do that. Okay, somebody should be complaining. I assure you it is not. I don't know why it keeps bringing that up. All right. Excuse me. Okay, so we did some renames. This is too long. Bridge. Selection dot joins dot append. It's still long. Really? I guess these are just that long, huh? All right. Bridge.selections.scopedColumns.first. Let's inline this method. I think maybe it's just bridge.firstColumn. All right, so let's selection database selection dot first column. Its type is string. Oh, scope column. Okay, that should be a little shorter. A little easier. I don't know if I should push it back to a bridge. I'm going to defer that one. So this is this notion of the law of Demeter. That's basically like, don't go chaining through functions to get to stuff. Which, sometimes we violate when we do these little pipelines, but this one's kind of different to me. It feels like we're just, finding this object that knows this one, that knows that one. And as you get rid of these, you're sort of cutting down how much stuff everybody needs to know about other objects. So Right now we have to know bridge has a selection that has a first column. We can push this back to bridge too. Database selection bridge, which knows nothing now. I don't know. That's why I'm going to defer it. All right. Yeah, that's better. What's up here? I don't know if that's, oops. That one we got. What about one join view? Table reference. Okay, well, let's make sure things are good and check them in. Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it. It's the fact that you're working or transforming something. It just feels different. I don't know, but maybe, but like maybe selecting is a transformation too or something. But I don't know. It definitely feels different to me, even though I don't. I mean, I think that's a good observation. All right, that all worked. And as I do smaller commits, I'm okay to say like, extract method and rename. It's pretty rare for me to go back for these things. I mean, some people are very into like Arlo's commit notation, and it's like, gosh, I just never go back that much. But it maybe in a group project or some big legacy thing, it'd be nice to know, like, oh, skim through these columns, and you can see the most likely troublemakers. But I'm going to live without. All right, now, how are you on complaints? Any object, a missing table thing that it's just forgotten what's up. LHS description, table reference. That's going to be long no matter what. And I'm not sure it's working. And what's the buy thing? It doesn't like my brackets. Well, I guess that should be. That might solve one of them. No. Now, this is what I tried to do the other day. Take this sorted by out and take the parentheses out. Okay, and I guess this should be another line. Let's see if that works. We got that stupid error message about the form before. Okay. There's that. Okay. Well, let's see, what do we do? Okay, we modified the spacing. Use closure as last argument. Modify spacing. Yeah, he's just clear issues, clean test results, clean build folder, and just run it from scratch. See if it loses the error magically. Good. I don't think there's a change. No. All right. So well, maybe we should get the bridge picking up stuff. Yeah, let's do that. Bridge. So this, if not that, so this is really if var has no errors, Boolean, which I kind of hate to return Booleans, but views love them. Okay, so this is not that. If it's not empty, it has errors. Okay, so database view asks if bridge has errors. And you can see the legibility goes up for sure. Oops. If the bridge has errors, then let's put the bridge message out there. Okay. Bridge dot error message. Hopefully I got hold of that. Yes. Okay. Bridge has errors. Show them. Bridge has table selections. And that's an array of table selection. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. Let's not do that then. Or how can we do that? This what's a binding? I'm going to take that out. Bridge dot. Not that it can't be done, but I think we'd have to create a binding instead of a value there. Yeah, maybe it can be done. Let's give it a go. I've probably done something like it. Binding. I don't want the at binding, but no. I'm going to not try that. I want to do easy ones for now. Okay. Bridge scoped columns, joins. Oh, I'm going to have the same problem, aren't I? We will pull this one back. See, I don't think I can reference that one because it's a $sign. Yep. Okay, back in here. Bridge.selection.joins. Yeah, bridge. Oh, well, that one can use it. Well, let's just give this. Should be a scoped column, I think. I mean, I got to admit, it's definitely boosting the readability for sure. Yeah. Both is the first column. Yes, they should. Yeah. That's when you first add a join, it just defaults to the first column, like it was class.name equals class.name. It might be worth figuring out some way to have an unselected column. But usually you got to change them anyway. So I don't know. And maybe, maybe we should pull the whole thing out. Let's do that. So instead of first column, let's just have a var, and this is new join of type join. And I don't mind putting this in. Well, let's keep going. So this can just be bridge.addJoin. Makes sense as a method on there. So we'll take selection dot joins dot append. Yeah. I don't know, maybe inlined is probably okay. So we create a join from the selection, return selection joins appended. Hope there's no return. Then appended. All right. And that's add a join. Bridge selection. I don't think there's other bridge. Oh. Yeah, yeah. That definitely makes more sense to me. This one, I'm not as sure. Like, I mean, this whole thing is more like, well, this one I can see. Set database name. So I don't know if I should make it a set database name or just provide a property that appears to be settable, maybe. Is it old? No. New value. Very well. The setter must also have a getter. Okay. Okay. Bridge.database name. Okay, now this one, this is I think it's create table selections. What is selection? It's the database selection. Yeah, break time. That's a good idea. Let's make sure we can just check this in. Good. All right, so we did a lot of move method to database selection bridge. All right, well, we're due for a break, so let's take a break, 3 or 4 minutes, and see you back then. All right, welcome back. Okay, so we're still trying to simplify the calls on the bridge, and I think the next one is this. I don't know what this is doing, creating the table selections. Okay, so it needs the database. So this is a function. How about make table selections given the database given a SQL database. Okay, so given a database, we're going to take its metadata and map each one of those into a table selection. Okay, and in here, bridge dot make table selections with database. Okay, and this is well, I guess we're pulling out this part. Well, let's pull out all that. It's really making you. Well, it just works from the bridge. So really I can make it a var and this, well, let's make it that. I guess we need the whole thing. Okay. It's a little weird looking. Is there a way better way to write that? Table reference to selection. Okay, so when you change the database, reset the database variable, update the database name, update the table selections, and update the table reference to selections. Okay. It's weird looking. Let's see what we can do. I don't know if I can just use dictionary there and let it infer the type. Seems happy enough. Then let's pull this out too. Well, let's make a variable. This is pairs reference to selection. References to selections. Equal selection.table selections.map. I think it might fit. No. Well, we definitely pushed more stuff into database selection now. A lot of it's delegation. But as we get down here, this is much more making stuff up and then pushing it. So I don't know, it's got some behavior now. Okay, let's make sure that it's built. Oh, I restarted Xcode during the break, and it still thinks those tables are protected because they were for 5 minutes. Taking a while? Okay, here it goes. Only 0.15 seconds, I guess. Okay. Move more methods over to the bridge. Okay. Now, where else? I think these I can't do anything about. Line. Okay, let's change that name too. Scoped column selector. Well, there's no way to make that short. Maybe it's better this way, more readable. Okay, one join view takes the table references, the choices, and the current selection. Shows those too. Okay. Oh, and this variable. Okay, and that's still confused. Let's clear these, see if it'll forget about them. All right. Well, again, I don't think this is perfect. It's kind of big. We've improved things other than these binding cases. Okay, I think I'm ready to tackle the real issue again. What do we say to do? Update dictionary when a table is renamed. Okay, yeah, we got to do that. So I think that's coming from, well, okay, I think what it comes to is all tables view needs to know these table references too. It seems fair. And it's a binding, so it should automatically update the other one. All right, so I'm going to add this to all tables view. And I don't have a good way to add it. I miss a lot about IntelliJ. Use it with Kotlin, use it with Java. Friends use it with PyCharm all the time. It really makes a lot of things easy. I mean, just a keystroke, bloop, and change that function stuff. All right, let's go here. Okay. He needs a binding. Table reference to selection. And that is that almost deserves a name. Okay. And anybody else going to care about this? Not apparently. Okay, so pass. So you might think of this as preparatory refactoring. We know some low-level thing is going to have to reference this binding, and let's push it down there. Now, yesterday I mentioned environment for this, and maybe that would be a better way to get it down there. Does one table view care? Well, I guess he does, because he's going to have to detect the change in the renamed table. Okay. Okay, so we want to pass this thing down here too. $sign. Well, I think it needs a $sign, and it needs to be put on one table view. Okay, there's binding down there. And again, we're changing stuff, but nobody's using it. It's all being put in place so we can use it. All right. Now, again, I think this is at the view level. And I guess it's on change of this. All right, and now, where's that binding of string? Guess we just need this. All right, so when that changes, then we're going to update this. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, we don't have an automatic way of testing this on the view. I don't know if like UI tests in the unit testing setup will do it. But I think what we're doing here though is now we have this binding. So whenever we update the value of the rename field, we're going to copy in the resulting table selection into the reference table, into the dictionary. So if they change renamed, then change this ID equals that. Okay. And should be harmless to unit tests, but the real test, the run is going to be the real test. And yeah, this is kind of the moment of truth for everything we've been doing the last 2 days. All right, so if I add a join, class.instructorFK equals person.id. Okay. Now, if I change this one, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, whether it's going to work to open it, I don't know. Let's hide these fields because you don't look at them. IDs. Just open. Instrument, name, and these are the instructors. And notice they're both called name. I mentioned that's kind of one of the things I'm not so keen on. All right, let's move our bar over here. Okay, so that's a little wide for it. And if let's swap the order. Okay, so for who's teaching what? I don't know if that's 120 or what maybe 1200 if they teach twice. Okay. I guess, I don't know. We'll have to see. But at any rate, we can see by instructors and instruments. So if you're a fiddle player, you want to catch these 4. And did I put dulcimer in? No, I didn't. How ironic. Mountain dulcimer. Okay. I don't know that Vivaldi really played a lot of dulcimer, being as it didn't get invented until after he was dead a couple hundred years. All right, but I think, yeah, this is giving us what we want. We reference those tables. They show up to make it easy to configure, but they're not really used in the production of anything. I don't think it matters for the tables, because when we do them, I think when the actual SQL query comes in, it's like select blah 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 from table 1 as, or instrument as, or I guess it was class as table 1, person as table 2. If we had the person again, person as table 3. Okay. Well, woohoo. We're kind of out on a limb for a couple days here that I didn't really have 100% confidence that this approach would work, because we did try, I believe it was 4 different approaches last week. We didn't spend hours and hours on any of them, but took several goes at this. All right. Well, let's catch that. So make one table view detect renaming and update the dictionary. Thus making rename work. So joins get edited as well as the tables. guess I wanted to do. Update the dictionary when a table is removed. Yes. Allow renaming of tables. Yes. Well, renaming a table updates both the table and join sections on the main configuration view. Woohoo! All right. Now, use the rename in the joins list. That part we did. Allow renaming of tables. Yes. Disallow duplicate names. Well, I'm not sure. We haven't been doing a lot of disallowing. But I would like to... Well, I can't stop you from typing. I mean, if you got one named class 2, another one named class, you're going to type a 2, you're going to get another class 2. And that's... I don't know. I think that's okay. I mean, it can confuse you, but it's not going to mess up the system, I guess. Remove database selection.scopeColumn. We actually removed the SQL database versions. That's outmoded. Okay, disallow duplicate names. So what I'm imagining, column should be simpler. Yeah, the column renames, which we haven't done yet, and probably will be even worse than this. They really are just aliases. Well, yeah, they're presentation names. So they should, if we renamed name to instructor here, and this name to class or something like that, that should be perfectly fine. That shows up in the configuration, which it affects the joins, but the real thing is it'll affect this screen and make the column names be defined by that. I think that's a good thing. All right. So probably have to pick the correct table to join. Yeah, I think it's having them the same name is going to confuse you because you're going to see, class with a field name and class with a field name. The system knows which one it is because it's keeping track of the IDs from when you created the table. So if we don't support adding a table yet, but we will. It's certainly something we want to do. Just like we add join, I want to put an add table, and we default you to showing all the tables originally, but we should let you put the same one twice. And once you do that, like immediately we've got a problem, person and person, same tables in there twice. You should get a warning. So let's say this is not disallow. It's warn about duplicate names. Disallow feels so tricky. Because it doesn't break anything. It just is confusing to you. You'd have to remember, like, oh, this is the one that corresponds to that. I don't know. Feels awkward. And gosh, I still have another. Like, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I'm envisioning. I may never do this, but I would love to just click on this and drag or something, but I want to drag down to the thing here like this, just do a little drag. Might be problematic to click. Yeah, I think it will be problematic for you as a user to pick the correct table. You'd be hard pressed to know. I mean, we might. Depends how we sort them, I guess, but they look like the same table with the same names. I don't want you to do that. I mean, maybe we could deactivate the joins or something until you fix it. That might be worth doing. Yeah, let's deactivate activate joins until they're unique. Okay. Right. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. And then the fact that they have the names on them, it wouldn't. As soon as you add it, it locks you out of changing anything. So you know you have the right one because you've got the one that was there before you added. That'll do it. Another one I wonder is, am I really good? Is it good to show you all these tables at first? Maybe I should just activate one. Yeah, I really would like lines. Yeah, like Interface Builder does, and I could probably put some sort of, little outline bracket or something, one per thing. I don't know. Or even some fancy drawing thing, but eventually it's going to get scrolled, if it's really big, and who knows. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about just starting with one activated, or maybe starting with none. I don't know, but no. All right. Warn about duplicate names. All right. So what we're saying, now where is this going to be? Is database selection? Right. So yeah. So we just did this in database view. All right. When you've changed databases, we go do make table selections, which runs through the metadata and gives you all of these, the initial set. Now, so, well, table selections knows them. Selection knows them, right? Database selection. Here. It knows the table selections. And when they change, well, I don't know how we did that before. What do we do with the joins? I think the database view just has a dependency. Where's messages? Its selection has errors, really? See the bridge over now. Okay, where's our join analysis? That's the thing. Oh, yeah, message. Okay. Yeah, so I think what we can do is say, give me the table selections. I will build up, I'll put the names, the rename string in a set. And if the set is the same size as the table selection, then they must have all been unique. All right. I don't know if that deserves table join analysis, kind of. That's moderately big. Okay. And what does he do if there's nothing? He returns empty. I guess I could return a good string for an analysis here. All right, so this is duplicate table name analysis. All right, you give me a table selection, I give you a message. All right, that's something we can write a test for. All the stuff in view we've been doing. All right. Table join analysis. Let's add whoops. A new file. How about duplicate table? Table name. All right. All unique names returns empty string. Okay, so let analysis equal duplicate name analysis. We're going to have to give it table selections. Well, I'll stick this here for now. Worked so hard to get it. All right. Oops. Let table selections equals, well, it's an array. We're not looking at those, so there's no harm. Okay, scramble them up a little. All right, and then we want to assert analysis.message equals empty string. Okay, this shouldn't build. Oh, is there a problem here? Oh. Well, offer to remove them. Why are you building? There we go. Oh, no. I wish I could just hit a little keystroke and get that class written for me, but it doesn't seem to work that way. I guess this is still database. Is that matching my test? Okay. Why are you? Oh. Okay. Hopefully this test fails. Good. All right. Okay. Well. If we just never complain. Should I be telling you the one that's unique? That isn't unique? I guess I should. All right, so this is A. Well, let's give it more. C, A, B, C. Okay, I want them out of order because I want to make sure it sorts them. These tables have duplicate names A and C. Rename them to be unique. All right. This will fail. Okay. Okay. So, I don't know if I want the cheap test. Can I get duplicates in a sequence? Yeah, grouping by. Yep. Thought there was something like that. Well, let's see. If the set of, well, let's map them. Let names equal table selections dot map $0 dot renamed. Okay. Now okay, if they're equal, they're fine. Otherwise, we want to do this duplicate thing. I think this is reasonable, grouping by context by, I think, can we just do self? But it gives us, it gives us a dictionary back. So everybody with the same phone is in a list. Okay. Well, let little cars. Grouping of sequence to element. I think it's just by itself. Okay. Dot. Well, yeah, this filter. Dollar. One dot count random one. Okay, so it maps. It gives you a dictionary mapping name to count, and then let's make sure that's true. String to array of strings. Okay, $1 is the right hand side of that map. Array of strings dot count. Okay, and then we want to return dot 0. Map those to entry in key. Okay. Let's just say $0. Okay, so now this should be a list of strings. Yep, dot sorted. They're all strings, so they're easy to sort. Okay, and then let's return a message. Okay, well, we'll hard code it, and then that's probably all we'll have time for. Okay, so the message is something like this. That, and this is slash something, which is duplicates dot comma. Oh, I could could have sworn I had a string. We got comma separated somewhere. Where is that thing? Set. Oh, that'll join them and separate. Okay, let's do that on the set then. Set. Duplicates. Oh, he's not a set. Filter map. This is an array. Yeah. Dot sorted. All right. Dot joined with separator comma space. Is it the long line that gets it? Okay. What do we got here? 3 minutes. Okay, let's see. I know we do this somewhere else in our locale stuff. Which I know just does not stick in my mind. It's not storyboard. It's not resources. Maybe join did something like this. Oh, locale. Why can't I remember those? Localizable. Okay. So duplicate table analysis, this message should go in here. And a semicolon down there somewhere. All right. So I think we'll stop here. We'll fix that internationalization bit. All right, but we've warned about. Well, no, we haven't. We haven't made that work yet. Make error message for duplicate names be localized. All right, warn about duplicate names. That's separate from this. Okay, we have the analysis to warn it, but we haven't dealt with it in the database selection to put the errors together. And I think that will do it. All right. Well, let's call it a wrap for today. And tomorrow we'll start with that. We'll get the duplicate name stuff working, And I believe we'll add a new table. And this is probably the bigger project that's going to take into next week. All right. Thanks for joining. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC. Bye-bye.